Hey guys. Okay, so it's Chris. I'm back. I just wanted to mention to you all that I have literally noticed that, whenever I'm away from my family, like a toxic family, I've came from a toxic family, not to say that, there wasn't any love shown in the family while I was there, but I do want to say that whenever I was deciding to leave my family because I felt like I was more spiritually set and more spiritually minded, not to say and not to mention that I wasn't I didn't have things to where I needed, to learn or or things like that. But at the end of the day, I kind of already knew, right from wrong and what route to take and what route not to take. Um Therefore, whenever you are coming from a unstable family and you are stable minded and you went through school all your life and you was taught that the mindset that you have, you're on the right track, or you know a lot of times people don't see the bigger picture. The bigger picture would be, you would literally need to start making these decisions on your own, but you're going to have to take someone who is headed towards where you're trying to go, or someone who's already there. They need to be upgraded within their mind and their righteous self, because that is going to be your best support. However, I've made a video about going to church and paying your tithes. Now, to get to talk about that, um, I just wanted to say that you know, I've coming from a family to where my grandmother is saying, um, go to church and pay your tithes, and good things will start happening for you, and you're gonna see the miracles work, and you're gonna see God's gifts start to pour down all over you, and this and that, and that's not a bad way to put things. That's not a bad way, because that is actually a spiritual ritual. Like I said before, people practice different rituals, just like if they were to practice witchcraft to get what they wanted. um Now, or different spells and things like that. Not now, when I say witchcraft, I'm not going to talk about you're going to hell, or something bad's going to happen to you. No, this is their different type of rituals they do to get monies. They use different type of rituals and ingredients to get things that they want. For instance, if in the Christian way, the ingredients would be, um, literally, money, by putting it in the offering, and just, waiting for something to happen, which is what they consider magic in other areas, like witchcraft would be considered magic, black magic. And that is a ritual that they have to do by getting ingredients, mixing it together, and making it manifest into magic. Like, oh my gosh, I just got like this check that came, or I started to see money started to come in because I did this ritual this way. Now I got some money, or now I got this or that, or a boyfriend, or a house, or my health is back in order, and things like that. But however, I have realized that, that is a ritual for itself. There's another ritual called a Christian ritual, which it says that if you put 10%, don't go under and don't go over. It has to be exact 10% of what you make. If you can actually provide that and put that into the offering, well, excuse me, into your tithes whenever you go to church, and just wait a while, then you'll start to see things happening. Now, my thing is like this: if you're not going to church at all and you're not paying your tithes, and you're doing what God tells you to do, like treat your body like a temple, only eat natural foods for your body to get healthy, in order for your body to live longer, to stay healthier, things like that. If that's pleasing to God, then why not? Why would you consider having to pay your tithes just to get that, when you do that regardless of that? You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's almost like ties are literally for people who do not know how to manage their money the right way the first time. Because once God bless you with something and you do the right things with it, then He's pleased with you. Um, Not saying you can't go to church and still do that, but I mean, if you think about it, someone who is literally spending their money on the wrong things, may need another way of believing that good things can happen if they spend their money this way, a certain way, in order for them to not feel, bad about them spending something or overspending or, things like that. So it's kind of like, you know, if you know better, you wouldn't even go to church. Just like, why would you continue to go to church? And because someone told you to go to church and they're forcing you to go to church when you have the church inside of you, or and things like that. So it's just kind of weird in a way. But however, I did want to say that um whenever I stepped away from my family, and I have a grandmother who was really, was really spiritual, but at the same time, yes, she was a spiritual bully. Thank you, Ashura Star Goddess. Um, she didn't realize that she was a spiritual bully, but other people did. And we didn't really have a word to say. We did have a word to call it. We just didn't call it a spiritual bully. We called it something else. We called it, she's going to say, we called it someone, um, saying that God is going to punish you. You're going to get in trouble by God if you don't do this and that and third. But if God knows the intent of your heart and why you do certain things, if He know that you're being misguided by the people around you, then why should that even be an issue? You see what I'm saying? If you have the right mindset and the God-hearted spirit, and you know that you need that type of people around you, then therefore there really isn't a reason to sit there and self-sabotage yourself. Thank you, Ashura Star Goddess. Again, go look up Ashura Star Goddess, seriously. And that's my other topic. Women need to take advice and from Ashura Star Goddess. And a lot of women are just jealous and mad and upset. And I'm like, why, when this person is giving you all the right information of how to better yourself and this, that, and the third. But anyway, men can take advice from Ashura also. So but but no, seriously, I really felt like there was some type of weight lifted off of me. Now, I did feel bad because I'm like, oh my gosh, here's my mom. She's been there for me. Here's my family. I've always been around them. I just feel bad just leaving them and, not ever staying in contact with them, because I mean, when I go to sleep at night or when I wake up in the morning and I'm far away from home, I think about that thing about Kanye. You're in a danger zone when you're far away from home, blah, 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 blah. So keep your love locked down, in a way. Not just for a relationship, but kind of family now, because now you have to worry about family not being on the same page as you, and you need to be on the right track and not give your heart away again to be hurt. So that's the reason why I really don't feel so bad. I'm not going to really self-sabotage myself. Thank you, Ashura Star Goddess. I'm not going to self-sabotage myself. However, uh, I got a reading, kind of, not of a reading. Yeah, I got kind of like a free reading from Mama D Taylor. You need to go really look her up. Mama D Taylor, intuitive. Um, it kind of came out of the middle of nowhere when I asked her for some advice on social media one day. I said, Mama D, I said, I really feel so bad. I love my mother so much, and I forgave her for everything that she's done to me. But I really feel like bad because I'm not able to stay in contact with her. Like, I'm not talking to her over the phone. She could be, feeling like so sad. Like, here it is. I changed his boy's diaper, blah, blah, blah. And I took care of him when he didn't have a father, and blah, 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 blah. It's other things to the story. But I kind of felt like, I was just feeling bad because I didn't stay in contact with my mother. But I knew why I was staying away from my mother, because I was hurt and I did not want to be hurt again. And not only that, I did not want to affiliate myself around something that was negative. It hurts me to say that, I feel that my mother is really negative, but it's the truth. What comes out of her mouth, it's not anything of God. It's always something negative. Who died? Someone died, blah, blah, blah. Guess who died today, blah blah blah, and guess what, and it's nothing like positive, and it's kind of like immature and childish. And that's what I feel like the situation is between me and my mother. So it's almost like, Chris, you might as well just hang it up. Every time you try to call her, every time she tries to call you, it's nothing important. It's nothing that, she can do for you. So, I mean, why even call, And then when we do talk on the phone, it's like something that I don't need to be hearing right now because it's not positive enough. It's stuff like that. Like, I have to think about that. And you guys need to understand that some people have children who are on the right track, and it's the parent that's not on the right track. And I mean, I'm sorry, but that is the God's honest truth, and I cannot sugarcoat anything. I really can't. But I just, I bottom line is I felt like whenever I was away from my family and I distanced myself from the same old toxic relationship, we did have some good times, we did have some fun, situations and things like that, some memorable moments. But as you get older, you start to realize, okay, you don't need to bring that with you. That may have been funny then, but you realize that it's not funny now, and you already knew it wasn't funny. You just had to deal with the fact that that's their lifestyle, and now you have a different lifestyle. So it's kind of like a little bit, kind of hard to try to keep up with when you're trying to prosper in your own life. And I feel bad for a lot of people who go through that because especially the people who have those type of parents, and you're not spiritual but you have those type of parents. Now you have a double whammy. You see, you don't even know how to escape, who to call on for help. You do, but you're not used to doing it. And so it's kind of like, I've seen people like that. Every once in a while you get a spiritual person who without a spiritual family, and that person was just magically saved by Christ, like seriously, by Christ, literally. And I just don't, I really don't like to talk about it, but whenever I do, it's like a teaching moment. That's why I'm actually using YouTube to help someone know that that's the type of situation that I am actually coming up out of. I've actually saved myself because I've actually got up and actually left the environment no matter what. It was kind of scary because I'm like, okay, I've never been out there on my own before, and here I am literally making some decisions, and it is involving not bringing my family with me. And these are the people that's been in my life for all my life. And yeah, so it's kind of like, what am I going to do now? But it's not like, what am I going to do now? I know what I'm going to do now. I know I'm supposed to keep God first and continue to do what Christopher needs to do in order for him to prosper, to get established, to maintain his stability, and to be responsible to take care of me. Now, I do pray for the people that I cannot talk to and I cannot see because it's just like it's toxic. You cannot have someone around you that is not doing what is best for them in order for them to have a prosperous lifestyle. You cannot hang around people who do not speak of the same thing that you speak of if it's going in the right direction. If it's going in the wrong direction, then that's a red flag. Just like Ashura said, it's a red flag. I've been noticed a red flag years ago. The fact that I was told by my grandparent and my mother, this is the brainwash that they gave me. If you do not honor your mother and your father, you will be shortening your days on earth. That was, and knowing that I am the type of person that listens to rules and understand things and take advantage to things that saying that serious, especially when it's coming from the word of God, the text. When I heard that, it made me like literally accept and try to put up with them, even if they were in the wrong lifestyle. That's kind of like a brainwash to someone. Because because even a very smart and intelligent person can be easily brainwashed if they're not strong enough and they don't really see what's going on, or they're not really sure of how to continue their journey no matter what negative thoughts they had from a parent that brainwashed them, or not just a parent, it could be anybody. um, and then as I got older, I recently reached out to my grandmother and I told her that again. And I said, Grandma, I said, you remember you was telling me, because bottom line, my grandmother said she don't remember saying it. And I know well she remember that. She just know that I'm getting older and I caught up and I'm able to identify everything that she says and I remember everything, and my mother. And then they always play that role. I don't remember saying this, and did I say that? I didn't say, and this, and that, and the third. And yeah, you said it all our life, literally. So shame on you. And I said it to her over the phone one time. I had gotten an argument with her. I said, you should be ashamed of yourself because of how you raised your daughter and your daughter turned out to be. And I literally told her that. I was really like really fed up because she was trying to throw the word of God and battle me with the word of God, and I was throwing the word of God right back to her because I was right and she was wrong. Some of the stuff she was saying was right, but at the end of the day, I was right and she was wrong. And it's hard for her to admit that because she's been the one to appoint Jesus Christ and the rules and regulation of the Bible to everyone in the family. Now, long story short, the reason why my grandmother is the way that she is because, for one, her mother passed away at a young when she was 15 years old. Was she 15? She was really young. Yeah, I think my grandmother was 15 years old. Yeah, she was. And my grandmother had brothers and sisters, only had a brother and a sister, but she basically, at the end of the day, my grandmother pretty much had to raise herself without her. Her brother helped raise her, but at the end of the day, she did not really have a father and a mother. And at the end of the day, she had to do everything by herself, and like learning the word God. Like, she had people help her, but at the end of the day, like, she had her era to where she didn't have anyone correct her because she was up there in the teenage years and didn't have her mother and father and things like that. And so she was kind of like fast and out of order in a way, and then also trying to raise her children as she got older and things like that. And and it just like, just imagine having a grandmother like that and trying to um um parent your own children as well. And and it's kind of shaky because your lifestyle, it needs to come up, and you're learning the word of God and you're trying. And then also, my grandmother did not have a high education. My grandmother left elementary school. I believe my grandmother left like the 5th grade or the 7th grade or something like that. But she did not finish. She didn't graduate high school. She didn't go to middle school. Yes, she just felt like it wasn't for her. But my thing is like this: how do you? When did you get in your head that, okay, I'm just not going to go to school? You talk about rebellious attitude. That's a rebellious attitude. If you just so happen to be that young and just decide not to go to school, you see what I'm saying? But what I've noticed is that she would literally scare you into doing something that she feels that you need to do, and put the word of God there, but at the end of the day, not realizing that she's doing it in the wrong way. She does, and she did have her way of manipulating and trying to get people to know that she was right. But at the end of the day, when someone else is really spiritual, what can you say? You really can't say that much. So I literally combated her because God has blessed me with a spiritualness mindset, and I combated her, her daughter, and my aunt, so her other daughter too. Um, and knowing that my grandmother lost her son at 30 or 33, um, whatever went on in the household between my with them, knowing that it was all women in the house, just saying, and he was the only guy, you know, Grady sisters, you know what I'm saying, and things like that, and no one wants to tell the truth about what happened and why my uncle was murdered. I literally, I just feel like, you guys are hiding secrets. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm spiritually set, and, you know, um, I'm no longer under your roof anymore, and I'm literally on my own, and I do not have to bring that type of animosity or that type of vengeance or scary like feeling towards in my newest lifestyle or my current. So, but everyone is different, I don't knock them, I don't, bash, but that's a whole life there, uncle that I never even got a chance to see. So long story short, I just felt like, whenever, even though my grandmother was telling me to go to church, whenever I stopped talking to her and letting the family know what I was doing and things like that, unless they were snooping around on social media and seeing what I was doing there, which is, of course, I'm pretty sure they were, and talking, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, I did not call anyone. I did not send letters, or I did not accept phone calls. They were reaching out to me, but I was not reaching out to them, and I was doing so good. And yes, God was blessing me with saving money. I had money coming in. I kept me a job. I ate healthy. I was a vegetarian every single day for a whole year. And everything. I didn't even smoke, you guys. I quit smoking and everything like that, and did not drink and things. And I was just living like the best of life, and they didn't even know it. And then I felt like, well, if you cannot respect me when I'm down, why would you respect me when I'm up? So why would I sit there and share with you what I'm doing, what I'm going through, so you can know this and the third, so you can call yourself trying to direct or help me do this and the third? Now, I can get my help from you, yes, but at the end of the day, if I know Jehovah Jireh, God will provide, that means God will provide. I know this already, so I really don't need you guys. I need that person. See, and my mother is out of order, and she don't even talk about God or anything like that. So I got this lifestyle already, and my brothers don't even talk about God. They don't. They do, but they don't. Like I do. They don't say thank you, God, blah blah blah. I don't hear them say anything. My brother, one of my other brother, goes to church all the time, and I don't even hear him talk about him. And that's the thing. He should be the one to do that. But he does have a good spirit, a good mindset. He's a good person. Um, but I don't really conversate with him that much. Um, it's just weird because you would think that we would if he know what type of brother he has. But anyways, and he does know, it's kind of like but he doesn't in a way. So yeah, I really, I felt like, whatever my grandmother was telling me, to go to church for, to pay your tithes, God will bless me. He was blessing me with that already because I knew how to use whatever he was blessing me with the right way. I was doing it the right way. You see what I'm saying? It's almost like, one time when my grandmother told me, now when you pay your tithes and God bless you and you see him blessing you, don't go foolish with it now, because he has blessed you with it. And I'm like to myself, thinking in my head, duh, he's blessed me with it already, and I was still saving it and still using my things in moderation and still conserving and living the right lifestyle, the healthy lifestyle. What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, here I am spiritually high, and she should be spiritually high, but it's almost like I'm teaching her and she thinks she's teaching me. And you know what I'm saying? I might be getting a little bit lessons from you, but everything else I already know. And at the end of the day, you're learning from me. And we learn from each other, but that's how it is. So that's basically, the situation. I literally felt like, whenever I'm away from my family now, you know, things are starting to happen more and more and more better for me. And if not, it was already happening in the midst of the confusion and in the sinful ways of the environment that I was in, because we all have our own sin, but when we're around other things that are sinful, like our parents or something like that, for instance, and it can be a relationship, but at the end of the day, it's almost like you can do good within yourself for yourself. And I was doing it regardless. And even when I was in my mother's environment with her blah 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 boyfriend, whatever you want to call it, um, God was still providing, looking out for me no matter what. And he had a way for me to escape and get out of that household in order for me to prosper, continue to prosper. And no, I may not be able to take them with me, but it's okay because I know what he promised me and I know what my prayers were and what I asked him and what I wanted from him and out of my lifestyle. So that's it, you guys. I mean, I don't really have any other way of explaining that, but yeah. So thanks for watching, and I'll cover another topic. I have about 6 more videos to go now. And I'm not going to go too fast, guys. I will promise I will slow down. I'm not going to promise, but I will upload them accordingly. I stand corrected. Bye, guys.